I think I've got my settings right. I've been teaching a few of these now, and you'd think I have the hang of it. Right. Oh, I forgot here. Of course, always forget. Couple last things. I think I got it. All right. Oh, good morning. And do you notice, I suppose that some people might not have been taking my class for as long, but I am recently out of my boot. Yay! Man, is it amazing how your boot really protects a broken foot. My foot is quite sore. I need to fix one more thing again. Hang on here and I'll get us going. There we go. Okay. If you want a pillow for your neck, you can grab one for when we do the things laying on our back. Last week I was working with a lot of blocks for props. I really don't have those in mind as of now. If you want to grab one and have one on hand, that's fine. Again, if you're practicing on a hardwood floor, you might want a second mat or a towel, or even bring your mat to a rug, just to give yourself a little extra cushioning for the spine, for the back, and all that good stuff. So welcome. Let's go ahead and do some Pilates. Let's get ourselves warmed up. So let's find any comfortable seated position. Remember, this does not have to be cross-legged. You can always lengthen a leg. What I'm looking for is finding that evenness and that stability through your hips. So I'm going to show you from the side. So we don't sit from behind. We sit right up into those sits bones. So see which leg placement allows you to get into those sits bones the best. And I think I forgot to tell you, my name is Michele. So finding those sits bones, getting into that comfortable position. Now it's about freeing up the shoulders, neck, and kind of the collarbone area. So I really like this one. I open almost every single one of my classes like this as we start to stretch from side to side. And the idea, again, is think you're sitting next to a wall. So when we tip over, we're not leaning away. You're kind of leaning back and up. Let this feel a little tight. It's okay. You don't have to muscle that out. The muscles in the sides of the ribs here, they hold us up. They do get tight. They do get sometimes even a little tender. So your goal here is not to get rid of all of that. Your goal is just to warm up. And it's to start to feel a little more like elastic. So when you come up and over, you can feel a little play in those muscles rather than feeling them being so stiff or so cold. So a lot of these, just gently leaning the spine from left to right. We don't tend to do this. We bend front and back a lot, but we tend not to do what we call lateral flexion, bending from side to side. Also, notice, is one side of your spine a little tighter than the other? Is one rib cage a little tighter than the other? And one more thing, we're going to do a few more. When you come and you support, try not to let this shoulder come up. You see how my shoulder came close to my ear? Try to let that drop away so we feel it underneath in the armpit. So your spine is like a slinky, and we want to softly pull space in that slinky throughout class. So space throughout your spine, space also in between the bones of your ribs, and space in the hip sockets as well. We want to create ease in the neck and the shoulders. So we're going to do this a few more times. And notice, are we lifting up through here, or can we sweep up soft and easy behind you? And letting the neck and the shoulders stay relaxed, stay soft. Hold this side, or whichever side you're on, and then drop the gaze down. Slowly lift the gaze up and drop the gaze down. This is to warm the neck. You don't have to hurt the neck. You don't have to make anything creak or pop. Just starting to push some blood through there. So we're going to look up and take this arm that's in the air. It comes all the way down. We're going to softly hold at a comfortable stretch. Same thing. Looking down. And then slowly look up. So it's using those neck muscles, particularly when we're looking towards the ceiling. But you don't have to push hard on them. You know, our necks ache a lot already, don't they? It's more of a kind of release to push some blood through there. And when blood is in those muscles, they ache a lot less. Let's come to center. And softly roll your shoulders. So it's feeling that the shoulders can move from the shoulder blades back behind you and not from on top here. Think of the shoulder blades back where the last name is on a sports jersey, and you want to wrinkle up your last name, or you want to move those letters around. And you're going to pause, do rolls the other way. And again, this isn't to make them as big as you can. This isn't to pop in the shoulders. It's to actually ease and release your shoulders. Excuse me. And one more time, we're coming down onto our back. So like I mentioned earlier, if you want that pillow from underneath your head, this is where you're going to want to grab it and stick it behind your neck. Let's start with feet. I just suddenly lost my train of thought. Feet, heels, knees together. Arms are going to come up and slide deep. And we're going to start swaying little bits from side to side. Now, if your knees don't touch the floor, don't push them. Not in the beginning. This is to warm up still. So these deep back muscles are starting to move. So taking your time and seeing how it feels. It's always good to check in. I hear this, I want a good workout. I want it to be worth my time. Well, it's not worth our time to get hurt. So make sure your back isn't too sore or there's not an achy spot that you weren't aware of. We're coming to center here. You're going to step your feet slightly apart. And you're going to tuck, you remember pelvic tilt, and that's where we use the rib cage here. You're going to sink down through the ribs, and we start to tuck the pelvis under a little bit, and then we release. So there's that tunnel under your low back. You're going to squeeze through the ribs down and gently let that low back touch the mat, and then let it lift back up. So it's a very small movement, very subtle. And like I said before, we usually can do this squeezing our seat, but instead, can we do this starting at the top of the ribs here? Now the ab muscles come in over the top ribs, but then there's some that tuck underneath up into your rib cage. So as you sink your ribs, can you almost think of those muscles coming inside the ribs and squeezing and pulling down, rather than compressing from the outside, but almost like a fist squeezing from the inside. I hope I was able to paint a good mental picture of that. And one more time here. A little pelvic tilt. And release. Step your feet really, really wide off the sides of the mat. We're going to sway the knees again. We want to open through the quads and the hip flexors here. So the goal isn't to push the knee down to the mat. It's to feel your leg getting longer, particularly up in here, all the way down to the kneecap. Feel free to start to move this from side to side at your own pace as your body warms up. So it's like I said, we want to warm all this musculature in the hips so it can move nice and freely, like a pendulum swinging in the grandfather clock. So you don't have to push hard. Again, it's that mentality of warming, of loosening. And just a few more here. As you're swaying, can you feel your collarbones, that there's a little width across here, just a little ease in the jaw, that the back of the head is not pushing hard into the mat at all. And one more time. We're coming back to center. You're going to bring those toes, heels, and knees together. We're going to go back to the knee sway. So go side to side a few times. Hopefully that low back is feeling just a little more warm, just a little more loose. So again, there's ease through the collarbones, through the throat, through the jaw, even around the eyes. All right, and then you're going to let your knees fall whichever direction they're going right now. Pause there. Think of joining the knees, between the knees, in a big long zipper from the knees up to the inner thighs to the pelvic floor, and slowly pick the knees up. Let's see if we can find the strength of the inner thighs. When you let your knees fall in the other direction, can you feel your inner thighs slowing you down, that you don't plop into it? You actually gently drop into it. And then pick the legs up from the inner thighs. Now, as we get the inner thighs strong, it's going to pull up to the pelvic floor and then through the belly, all the way up to the inside of the rib cage. Remember, I talked about that earlier. So play around here with your muscle contraction, starting in the inner thighs. So those knees are nice and strong. See if you can feel it come to the pelvic floor. By chance, can you feel it coming behind the belly button, maybe up to the rib cage? So you're really in control of this movement. It's, again, not trying to make it huge. It's feeling that your abs and inner thighs pick up your legs and lower them down. And they can pick up those legs, that slow squeeze, but it's consistent. We can move with that control, and we don't have to rush. We don't have to rush. So let's try this one more time at your pace in each direction. Starting to get those inner thighs woke up. And pulling up, pulling up, pulling up. Take a breath. Step the feet slightly apart. Now slide the legs to the floor. Let's take the arms over the head and start to stretch open our whole body. And again, I'm going to repeat this like a broken record. It should just feel good. So making space, like I said, we want to feel like we're making space down the rib cage, in that hip socket, through here, through the spine. Ease around the shoulders, ease around the neck. And hands come down to the side. Let's bend the knees and step the feet in. And the arms are going to stay at the sides. Remember, we were sinking down, starting our imprint. We're not going to push the low back to the floor, but we want to find those deep abdominal muscles that hook up into the ribs. So we're going to do a very, very small sit-up. You roll just to your mid-ribs. So you start to nod your head, yes. You roll past your shoulder blades. You reach slightly with those arms, and you stop so you feel that sink right here. That's it. I know we feel like we could try to get higher, but we want to stay down and in here. So you, again, can you feel like those ribs, or not the ribs, I'm sorry, the ab muscles are trying to fish hook up inside your rib cage. And then roll your shoulder blades back down first, and then your head touches. Relax everything, take a breath. Exhale, nod the chin in, roll past the shoulder blades. Sink hard into these ribs. Gently hold there. This is really strong, but the hands are soft, the shoulders are soft. There's still a little ease through my neck. We're gonna roll back down, shoulder blades first, and then head. Relax everything, take a breath in, and as you exhale, start to nod yes. So you look towards the knees, we roll up. We're gonna hold right into that rib cage. Feel how wide your rib cage is from left to right, and then roll shoulder blades down, then the head. Relax everything, breathe in. About two more. You'd like to think I could count to two, but there are no guarantees. Fish hook up into those ribs. Roll your shoulder blades down, then your head. Relax everything. Soft, breathe in. Exhale, rolling up, pausing right in those ribs. They're real nice and strong. Roll shoulder blades down, then head. Relax everything. If you want, you can roll your head from side to side. If the front of the neck is sore, you can sway the knees. You can pull the knees to your chest, whatever you'd like. Now, I want to work with this ab prep, this little bit of a crunch. If you need to, you can gently assist with your hands, but I'd like your hands more by your ears than behind your head. We really want to keep the neck out of it as much as we can. Let's bring those knees to center. Feet are planted. Let's go and take the elbows or the hands. I'm basically just touching the backs of my ears, and the elbows are open. Breathe in. As you exhale, start to nod yes, and roll up, and feel how the weight of the arms is a little bit wide here. It's like coat hangers. Okay, you got your corners of your coat hangers. They're opened out and away. They're not pulled in really tight. We're kind of opening them up. Now roll your shoulder blades back down, and then your head. Relax everything. Take a breath in. Exhale, nod, yes, starting to roll up into those ribs. Hold right there. Just, it feels like it's only halfway. Let it be only halfway. Rolling back down, shoulder blades and head. Two more, breathe in. Exhale, chin rolls in. Just past those shoulder blades, right into those strong lower ribs. Reversing shoulder blades, then head. Last one, let the neck relax as you breathe in. Exhale, tuck the chin, rolling up. And again, coming down. All right, quick little breather here. So releasing whatever feels good to you. I'd like to get into the obliques, which does make us twist. Now, to find the obliques is a little tricky laying on our back. There's a lot of other muscles that are going to want to help you, like your neck, your chest, your elbow. None of those contain any abs. We want to think mainly down in here again, how these muscles will wrap up underneath the rib cage, and they'll help you in your twist. So feet a little bit apart, hands back by the ears. Let's take that breath in, and as we exhale, we nod yes, and we come up. Not too high here, because this is going to try to come be our new starting point. So let's start with that right elbow. You breathe in, and as you exhale, think of fish hooking up into the ribs to come up and over, rather than to come down here. Think of coming up, up and over, and then back to that middle, right in those ribs, and then that left elbow is going to come up and over, and back onto those ribs. Take a breath. Right elbow, almost like it wants to roll up towards the sky a little more. And back. Can you stay right here? If you need to bring your neck to the floor anytime, please do that. We're going to try for a few more of these. Can you feel this down in the ribs? Try not to push the elbow first. Fish hook up and into those abs. And we come back to center. And left. And center. Now try not to force too hard, but that right elbow, think of it swinging up or lifting towards the sky and coming back down with control. So you roll that up and you release it down. One more time, each side. Up and slowly coming down. Feel how those abs grab in to catch you. Last time with that left elbow. Up. Now, can you hold it center for a second, then shoulder blades, then head. Let's open. I'm going to open up everything long, whatever feels good to you. Let's stay here about 3 breaths. The knees are going to come into the chest. Let's hold them in and rock from side to side of your rib cage. One more breaths. We're going to do some seated twists, but first I'd like to warm the spine just a smidgen more, so come over to hands and knees. Hands are right under your shoulders, so when you look down, it feels like your fingertips are right under your nose, so we're not like up here, so it's under our forehead. Knees hip-width distance apart. Go ahead and roll that spine up towards the sky and then dropping it down. Again, what's Pilates? Control. So you don't have to push as hard as you can, but it's noticing where you're strong. So when we roll the spine towards the sky, can you feel these muscles pulling in again around those ribs? When we drop the belly down, can you allow the back, that low back, to squeeze a little bit? So now the abs, the front muscles are going to roll in and tuck up. And then the back gets a turn to be strong as we drop down. Let's try that one more time. So you're going to see if you can find those abs pulling in around those front lower ribs. And now it's the back muscles' turn to squeeze the ribs. And we come down. Hold this rolled up spine to the sky. So right here, we're going to get into some deeper breathing to get that diaphragm and those real deep abs moving. So it's like blowing out a candle. You breathe in, exhale, but can you do this? Round it up. Breathe in, exhale, and breathe in, exhale, blow out that candle. And now we find shell stretch in Pilates, where we scoot our knees a little bit wet. And we start to sit back and see, oh, I'm keeping my spine rolled up. My ribs are still really on. My abs are really strong here. I'll gently bring my arms just a smidgen forward, but not so much that I can't hold that lift. I don't want to drop my belly. I want to feel like I'm still an umbrella over my thighs. And we're going to do 3 more breaths here. So can you breathe all balled up? Drop the belly, breathe in. Exhale, good, strong belly breath. Blowing out that candle. Inhale to relax the belly a little bit. Exhale, can you pull, fish hook that skin, those muscles up inside your rib cage? Last one. And hands and knees, and we're coming to seated. So we're going to take the legs along. So just start with the hands back, fingertips facing left and right. And let's just do a few ankle circles. Nice and soft. Again, you don't have to make anything pop And then do a few the other way. And then you're going to gently point with all of your toes. You have a couple toes that like to do most of the pointing, but can you take an extra breath and maybe feel all 5 toes pointing? And then we're going to pull the toes in. Can you imagine the skin here, right on the front of those ankles, that they would wrinkle up? Then you're going to kind of hold right in the middle there. You're going to pull those toes back. We want to find the strength in the quads. We're going to start to walk the weight right into the sits bones there. So we're like working into the shape of a letter L. I'm going to turn slightly more this way so you can see me a little better. Let's bring the hands in front, fingertip to fingertip. It's like you've sat in flypaper or super glue. Your legs, your toes, your knees, and your hips are not going to move. It's like Barbie. We've got this seam right here, right at our belly button, above the waistband. That's where we're going to turn. So take a breath in to prepare. And as you exhale, let's take a little twist to the left. Stay there. Can you feel how your upper, your chest, your sternum is turned one way, but your hips, your knees, you're still the other way. So feel that kitty wampedness and slowly come back to center. Take a breath. Let's try it just a little bit to the right. So you twist the sternum to the right and you hold just there. Feel how your legs are not going in the same direction. Now from your rib cage right underneath here, that's where you pull back to center. Breath in to prepare, and then exhale, twisting the left elbow back, sternum goes. You see how my fingertips are in line with my sternum? My arms are out here. Stays right there, coming back. And a little bit to the right, breathe in. Exhale that little twist. Can you feel your quads grip and stop you? Feel your legs stop? You can't go any further? It's exactly what we want. Take a breath in, exhale, little twist to the left. You hold that for an inhale. Exhale, come into center. Breathe in to prepare. Exhale, twisting that right elbow a little bit. So like I said, think like Barbie. Remember how you could twist her upper body and her legs would face another way. Come back to center. One more time in each direction. So thinking up higher in the ribs, not all the way down to the hips. And last one to the right, can the shoulders be a little relaxed? The throat soft. And we're coming to center. You relax down. Let's take the hands behind the knees. Pull the knees in, soles of the feet together. And again, this should just feel good. You don't have to push hard into the stretch. It's to release the low back. It's to release the hips. Taking a few easy breaths. I want to play with that twist. Okay, that's our basic. I'm going to give you all kinds of options to play with and see what we can create with that ab contraction. You have to do everything? No. Remember that. Do as much or as little. You can always try a few more of the options I give you. And if they're not feeling right, you can always come back down to that first one we do. So let's take the legs long. We got to find the strength in the legs and the quads. So you pull your toes back towards you. Feel all these quads hug into the bone, and you're right into your sits bones. Okay, so you know how you can apply like a deeper squeeze and then a slow release and a squeeze. I don't like to use the word pulse because then people bounce, and it's not a bounce. Okay, so you remember this little twist we did? Breathe in, exhale, twist to the left. Pause, release just a little, and then back in. Pause, release just a little, and then third twist back in, hold. Feel those legs long. From right under the ribs here, you're going to come back center, take a breath in to prepare. We twist the right elbow back. You're going to release this just a little bit with your muscles. So there's a little bit of unwind and then twisting it back in. Breathe in a little bit of an unwind. Exhale to twist it back in. One more time. A little bit of unwind and twisting it. Come back to center. So it's like testing the edge of that contraction. Breathe in. Find your obliques. You bring it in. Oh, there they are. Okay, now back up just a smidgen. Breathe in. Exhale, find them again. Back off and breathe in just a little bit. And now twist it back in, push out those legs. One more time. And twisting. Now a nice long drag back to center. Breathe in. Exhale, right elbow twist back. One. You're going to slowly release just a little bit of it. Legs stay strong. Go back in to find that twist in the obliques. Come back out a little bit. And in. I'm only supposed to do like 3 twists each side. I don't know how well I'm doing. I'm so worried about teaching you guys all the proper form. Let's do it again. So left elbow comes back. It's supposed to be 3. So you may watch me do 4. So find that oblique twist right under those ribs and then back up just a smidgen. One more here. Find it again. Feel how your toes and your legs don't follow. Come all the way back to center and right elbow twist back. Feel how that right leg doesn't follow. Back up just a smidgen. Now go in and find that right oblique. And a little bit off and twist it in. Come back one more time, each side. Here we are. Breathe in, breathe out. Little twist. Release just a little of it. Inhale. Exhale. Go back into that twist. Release a little. Exhale. Go back in. Let's come back to center. And right elbow back. Release just a little of it. Twist back in. One more time. Release a little bit. Center. And twist it back in. Come in center. And relaxing. Let's pick up the knees. Let's step the feet wide this time. And the hands go behind. Turn your fingertips right and left. And let's release in these hips. So again, you don't have to push the kneecap to the floor. This is to create ease and length through here. So let's flush out these hip joints and these legs. I want to add one last thing to that twist. So the idea of Pilates is we build the strength in our deep muscles, those core muscles, so the rest of our body looks very much at ease. So we've got that twist, and then we're going to see if we can add some arms and make it look like we're at ease through the neck and the shoulders. So take those legs, lengthen them out, pull the toes back towards you as you walk your hands in. Start to find the strength in the quads, right into those sits bones. We're going to bring those hands up in front again. So we're going to do the 3 twists to the left. So take a breath in, exhale, twist left, a little release, exhale, twist 2, little bit release, and 3. And now the arms open, like they're easy. And you don't want to send them too high or too low, but just like they move through water. Now, can you feel your arms gently open and the legs strong? And you pull the fingertips and come back to center. Let's try it to the right. So we take that twist to the right, release just a little, exhale back into that oblique twist, release just a little, and then you lead with your ribs first, and then those arms open, very easy, very soft. The shoulders, let's bring the fingertips together, coming back, center, breath, twist to the left, and a little release. Right in under those ribs. And release. We twist and we're going to hold. And now, just like, it's so easy. See, there's nothing in the neck, hopefully, nothing in the shoulders. And then we pull this back to center. From the strength in the belly, comes back. And to the right. One twist, little release. Pull it back in around those ribs. Little release. And this is the one we hold. Think of sliding your arms through water. They open, strong, they come back. Fingertip to fingertip, coming back. One more time each side. Twist to the left. Little release. And to the left. Keep those ribs nice and controlled. You move from those ribs. You're going to hold back. And the arms open. And then we pull it back to center. From right beneath those ribs, we twist in. We hold the legs strong. Breathe in. And as you exhale, to the right. Twist, small release. Exhale, right, twist, small release. We're going to hold this twist. So you pull it into those obliques, and then you open the arms. Hold those obliques strong, strong, strong. Fingertips come back to meet. Twisting to center. Nice and relaxing down. We are going to come over onto our belly. So finding the strength in the belly when we're laying on our stomach. I think of it like a sagging hammock. If we don't use any of our muscles, we just kind of sink. But if I tighten my abs and my ribs into the floor, it gives my body, it's like pulling that hammock a little tighter. So stack your hands, rest your forehead on your hands. Relax down, always check in on that back, okay? We want to make sure your back is always all right. If it's a little tender or tighter than you had anticipated, just let it warm up. but we want to find the ribs right here. So we want to firm this, pushing the belly into the floor, feeling the boniness of your ribs as best as you can, and then letting the legs go long. You want to ground through your toenails, but just be careful you don't cramp your feet. So the legs are really long and heavy hanging behind you, like a mermaid tail. We're going to stack the hands, forehead rests. Can you find the grip in the belly and those long, heavy legs? Can you feel that heaviness in your quads, in your toenails? And we're going to start by warming the neck a little bit. So the forehead is tapping the hands, and then you lift in the head. Can you let this squeeze into the belly so we don't push into our arms? You see how that actually folds this up? We want to keep that strong and down, shoulders away from the back of the head. And then you bring your head back down. You're going to tap the back of your hands and then gently lift again. So feeling how just the movement of the head starts to kick in the low back and those muscles around our rib cage. One more time. And up. Lowering the forehead. Now, just so it touches the hands are going to come out. And we're going to turn thumbs down, pinkies towards the sky. Hands on the side of the thighs, not up in the back here, down. And you really want to tighten from your armpit down. Holding right there, gently. So on a scale of 1 to 10, can you give me about a 5? So your shoulder blades are set down and into your rib cage. Your ribs are pushing into the floor. You feel the tops of the quads pressing down on your toenails. And then we add those arms. So you feel that squeeze coming down your rib cage. You're going to let your palms fall away from the thighs. So the palms go to the sky and the forehead comes down. Breathe in and exhale. Pull everything in. Palms in, armpits in, belly strong. And then we slowly release it down. Can you keep your abs on so your abs actually don't relax here? One more time, pulling in, palms to the thighs. Strong belly. We're going to add onto this. It's going to be a really slow jumping jack, for lack of a better description. So we're going to come down. We're going to open palms towards the sky. Forehead taps the mat. Coming up. Now slide the toes together. So heels are connected, big toes are connected, inner thighs are connected. You feel you're getting taller from the very crown of your head, not from your chin, right up here, and pull it through the very center of you. Now you're going to scoot the feet a little bit wide, palms turn towards the sky, forehead comes down, but belly stays strong. Bony ribs, can you feel them? Now let's pull everything in. Head lifts, palms to the thighs, heels and big toes scoot towards each other, and you hold yourself really long like an arrow. And then we're going to peel it down, palms towards the sky, feet find a little space between them, forehead just taps, but the ribs, the abs are on. Breathe in to prepare, exhale, pull everything in, palms touching the sides of the thighs, inner thighs strong, down to the toes and the heels, belly strong, keeping your belly on. That's the challenge. Can we relax the rest of this down? But the belly doesn't get the break. One more time. Breathe in. Exhale. Pull everything in. And it doesn't have to be fast. And it doesn't have to be as hard as you can. Because what if I said, oh, let's just hang here for another 30 seconds? Could we? Could we hang here for another minute? So it's not to fatigue the muscles, but it's to feel them be strong, but on a level that will have endurance. Because that's what our posture is being able to stand tall all day long against gravity. Let's go ahead and release this down. Relax your belly and bring your right cheekbone to the floor. Take a breath and let the neck twist. Let's do this the other way. Turn the left ear down, letting it twist. Let's slide the hands in under the shoulders. We're going to turn the forehead to the floor. Turn your toes under. Let's push hands and knees. Up to hands and knees. Let's do a few Pilates cats and cows to move that spine. But which muscles are you using? Can you feel these wrapping around those front ribs? The belly is going to stretch and drop, but now can you feel the back squeeze in that low back? Let's try that again. Now I know I move really slow. If you want to move faster than me, you can. As long as you can feel which muscles are moving your spine up and down, That's all I'm looking for. One more time. And again, roll that spine towards the sky. Let's see if we can bring in that breath with our spine rolled up and really getting those abs fired. So you take a belly breath in. Exhale, pull your belly up and into your ribs as best as you can as you blow out. 2 more times. Blow out that candle. Last one. We're going to try this in a shell stretch. So you step your knees a little wide. You try to keep those ribs tucked up. So you're an umbrella over your thighs. You walk your hands out just a little bit. The head gets heavy. 3 more breaths. So breathe into the belly. Exhale, try to fire the abs up and in. 2 more times. Walk those hands in. We're going to bring the feet out around the front and coming down onto our back. So that is one of the aspects of Pilates, is learning how to find your abs no matter what position you find yourself in. So then your abs are strong and they're able to help you, because life isn't very ergonomically correct. I don't know about you guys, but I've been starting to clean out closets and things, and when you start crawling under shelves and moving around boxes, you find yourself in very different, awkward positions. And if you're able to fire your abs, you're able to keep your back safe. Bridges, remember bridges, feet only hip width distance apart. So if you start with your heels and your toes touching and then just take a small step wide, that's as wide as your hips are. I always see people that want to go, I'm like, your hips aren't that big. So just a small step apart there. Feel toes and feel your heels. Arms at the sides. We start from the rib cage, we roll down and we lift that spine up and then we roll it back down. So do about 3-ish. We know how well I count, just to warm the spine. Once we've got that spine feeling pretty good, this isn't achy in your low back, then I really want to get into your hamstrings. So as you roll up and as you roll down, you want to think of where your knee pits back here, so where those hamstrings hook in. So I use my toes and my heels, and when I push my knees away when I lift up. So you want to feel the knees feel like they get further away, so this opens up like a table. Now when you set your hips down, can you feel the knee pits grip? Grip into the knee pits. Let those hammies really tighten. And at the bottom, you can take a breath. And then rolling back in. Can you find the knee pits? It's a little bit harder on the picking up than the rolling down, or at least for me it is. I really have to ground into my big toes and push my shins away. And as you roll down, can you feel those knee pits? Can you feel that gets deeper, that crease, bends? And you're going to roll down. Now think of that same contraction in the knee pits, helping the feet. When you roll up, you're going to pull right in under there. Push the knees away. Lengthen the quads out. We're going to do a few more. We're not getting terribly fancy schmancy here. I'm going to take it back to that weird jumping jack we were doing earlier. But see if we can feel these hamstrings in this position here. And then challenging the brain, we're going to change positions. Can we still find our hamstrings in another way? So one more time, your knees don't touch, but as you roll into your bridge, can you squeeze your knees slightly towards each other so you feel the inner thighs? Inner thighs and hamstrings all the way into those knee pits. Roll down slow, see if you can grip in to those muscles, how they hook in behind the knees. And coming down. Let's bring the feet and knees together. Scoot the arms. Let's do just a few twists. And then we're going to come back onto our belly. All right. Onto our belly. So again, stack your hands, rest your forehead, let your body relax. Always check in. We don't always know your low back is sore until you lay on your belly. You're going to lift the forehead. Let's start with the arms back by the sides. The palms turned up. Remember this one, palms turned up, forehead's going to come down. Strong belly. Find those rib bones. Try to push those rib bones into the floor. Take a breath. And we pull everything in tight. Palms come to the sides, toes and heels joint. We hold here. Now hold yourself nice and long like an arrow. Think of your knee pits. Can you slowly bend the knees? Hold. Can you feel that squeeze in the back of the thighs? Then we're going to lengthen down. Keep the heels together. Can you? And then once those toenails are just touching the floor, then we release down. But remember, the bony ribs stay on. Take a breath in. As you exhale, pull everything in and long like an arrow. And the knees, try to scoot them towards each other. Slow pull of those hamstrings. Now, some people like to point their toes, or you can flex. And then a slow release down. Can you hold the inner thighs strong? Ribs really strong. Hands still touching those thighs. Once the toenails finally find the floor, slow release down. Abs stay on, stay on, stay on. Even through this breath in, exhale, pull everything tight. And can we find the knee pits? Can we find the hamstrings? And keep the abs on. And keep the arms strong. Feel yourself getting longer, longer, longer as the toenails touch the floor, and then everything releases down. Breathe in, abs strong. Pull it in tight. Feel armpits, hands, ribs, inner thighs, heels, and then starting to bend the knees. Hold that back and belly strong. Really squeezing those ribs and going long. Long, hold the inner thighs. Let the toenails touch. Scooting everything away. One more time. Abs strong. Ribs on. Long and strong like an arrow. Keep that upper body just like this. And can we find our strong hamstrings? Right into those knee pits. And coming down. Toenails, let them just touch. And release down. And again, right ear comes down to the mat. Full breath in. Out, turn the other way. Left ear down to the mat. Breathe in. And breathe out. Let's bring the hands in. Toes turn under. One more time. Pushing up into those Pilates cats and cows. So the idea is that we keep revisiting how to find these ab muscles in different positions. And as we move through class, the muscles are going to be a little tired. So as they fatigue, can I still find them in simple movements of just rolling my spine to the sky? Can I find the strength in my back of just letting the belly open to the floor? The next time your spine is rolled up to the ceiling hole, give me 3 Pilates breaths. Can you really start to pull in that diaphragm? So there's the relaxed belly to breathe in. Blow out that candle. And inhale. Exhale, try to fish hook those abs up and in. Last one. Knees scoot a little wide. Finding that shell stretch. Can we keep those ribs lifted up and away from the thighs? A small walk out with the arms. 3 more breaths here. How much can you fire those abs? Exhale, number 2. Inhale. Last exhale. Hands walk in toward your knees. Bringing the feet out, around, in front of you, and coming down onto your back. All right. From here, let's bring the hands to the sides. And you're going to give me a little imprint. Remember, as we pull those ribs in just a little, and we have the low back just touch the floor. Don't push into your low back. You can feel the flat, that sacrum, that bone way down just below your waistband. That's where you ground into. Up high and down low. Nothing in the middle there. There's no ribs to protect those vertebrae. And we lift one leg at a time. Now, I can see my toes if I look just above my knees, but I can drop them down so I can't see them. Will you do the same thing, that if you kind of look above your kneecaps, you can't see your toes? Then we're going to separate feet and knees. And we're going to slide one leg out and in, and the other side. Now, I really don't care which one you're doing, left or right. What I'm looking for is that when we slide out, it's straight out. What we will tend to do is turn. Can you see how my knee drops in? Or my knee drops out? I'm sorry, the right of my heel comes in. So it's not any of that. It's a slide out. And when we come back in, you see how I'm not coming all the way in. I'm not sinking. Everything, it's those femur bones are staying straight up and down here. Straight up and down there. Okay? So when you hold one leg out for me here and feel this knee doesn't come in, feel how that weight goes right through your hips here, right into that sacrum. And then you other side. Okay, so you don't want to pull in too far with that other knee. I am going to make this a bit more complicated in a minute. So feel that heaviness through your sacrum. Okay, and your legs are working like out away from you. You always have this space right here, those up and down thighs. One more time with each leg. And we want to think of it moving more from the thigh. Rather than kicking into the toes, it's moving here and then in. Let's give ourselves a little hug and quick and rock out that low back. All right, release your hands down. Lift the heels from the thighs. We're going to separate feet and knees. Now, in that imprint, you're going to come up. Small little crunch. Remember that sitting right here, no further, right here. Now, keeping these thighs away. See how they're straight up and down? Can I reach one out and then switch? So we're seeing if I can keep your belly really flat, because your belly is going to want to pooch up to do this. So think of those muscles coming under, inside the ribs, and fish hooking in. And feel how the weight of the legs kind of challenges that. And we don't want to pull in too far. This stays out. So the movement of the legs feels quite smaller than we're used to. Fish hook that in. Keep this as flat as you can. Real strong right around those low ribs, just like a corset would be. Let's do one more time with each leg. Coming down. Okay. You remember the oblique twist we did early, right in the beginning of class? So I've taken a long time to warm us up. But you've seen these bicycles, right? But what do people tend to do? They pull this elbow down and the knee in and drops up. Okay, so what is Pilates? If I sit up my ribs and my hips, I don't want this section to move. How would obliques look if you had a corset on and you couldn't crunch this closer? So the hands come by the ears. Feet lift, that little imprint. This is our starting point right here. So I'm going to lengthen. I mix up my right and lefts all the time. Right leg, right elbow comes up. Now, can you reach the elbow up? And don't try to touch it. Reach up. Come back center. Left elbow up, left leg out. Come back center. Sit into the ribs and that sacrum, that tailbone, and that twist up. So this doesn't get any closer together. It stays flat, like we were wearing a corset. And coming center. Really use these muscles under the ribs. And center. And I'm doing it very slow on purpose. How slow can you do this? Feel which muscles twist you in and let you come back. And right under the ribcage, twist you in. And back. One more each side. That twist in. And back. Last one. Elbow lifts high. Coming center. Rolling shoulder blades down, then head. One foot down, then the other. Let's step the feet wide and release. Let's start with the hip flexors. Let's get them a little long. So that idea that we can twist in the ribs and we can move the legs all at the same time, because that's what Pilates is really coordination and control. But laying on the ground, that gives us a lot of support, doesn't it? Could we do anything like this, maybe with less support? Oh, this feels good. I might have to do this a few more times. We're going to eventually make our way to seated. Oh. So finding the deeper thigh muscles. And these thigh muscles fit in like around the hip socket. Okay, so we're going to come to seated. Legs long and scoot it a little bit wide. So the muscles, do you remember in the beginning of class when we were swaying our knees side to side and I said your inner thighs really lift the legs? These inner thigh muscles come in to the inside of that bone and they thread up into that lower belly through the pelvic floor. We can find those seated. You can see all of me here. So the feet, see, they're about in line with hips. They're not super wide, they're not narrow, right around there. Sitting up as tall as you can like the letter L. Your fingertips come out left and right, and we're not going to be able to push into them. They are basically, they can't do anything. So I'm going to switch quick. See how my hands are right in line with my hip? If you're a little forward or a little back, it's easy to push into that. I don't want you to be able to. So put your hands in the least useful position they can be in. Feet a little wide, toes pulled in. And now, left foot drops up. So the kneecap rolls out. We want to think of this inner thigh, not the quad on top. Okay, not this guy. Inner thigh, right in there. Think of your leg getting as long as you can. Sit straight down into the hips. Can we lift that leg at all? And set it down. So think of it like a scissors. This right leg is going to push down and the left one lifts. Okay? And we're going to try to keep everything lifted because now there's no floor to help us. It's just our deep inner thigh into the belly. Let that fish hook, let it come in. Now, I'm really moving only about like that. It's very, very small. But can it be controlled up? Can it be controlled down? Whoo! Shake out the feet. Let's go to the other side. So you roll the leg out, toes and kneecap and that thigh. Think of this inner thigh. Think of way up in here. Again, lift. And now lower. Think of the leg reaching out and away rather than trying to pull the leg in towards you. Think of it getting longer. And to the best of your ability, as much control as we can add so the leg doesn't plop too much. And we come down. All right. Soul to soul, feet together, relax, take a few breaths. Now, when I was thinking about what I wanted to teach you guys today, this sounded like a good idea to me. It's okay if everything doesn't sound like a good idea to you. Do you remember our oblique twist earlier? I'm not going to do the 3 pulses, but you remember that? Do you think we could twist? Maybe? Maybe? Let's give it a shot. So sit up tall, feet on, okay? Fingertip to fingertip. We're going to go to the left first. So you use your obliques. Find those first. Obliques, arms are going to raise, and we're just going to lift that left leg. And then how much control can we bring it to center like a ballerina? Right? Twist it to the right. Open the arms. Can that right leg reach out? And we slowly bring it to center. And start with your twist. Always twist first. Twist left, arms, and then think the leg. If the leg comes up, yay. If it doesn't, you can still feel those muscles, can't you? Trying to lift it. Let's twist right. Open the arms. Think that right leg. Can it lift? And coming back to center. Start with the ribs first. Twist left. Those obliques. Add the arms. Add the leg or think the leg. And bring it down. Unpeel out. Slow. Yeah. Twist right. Find the obliques. Open the arms. And really. And slowly bring it center. Nice work. Okay. Let's bring those feet in. Give ourselves a little breather. So now we've been using, what do I say, a lot of muscles, basically not in a plank formation. So why don't we see if we can start to use this in a plank? Very often it's easy to overuse your shoulders in a plank. So let's come around to hands and knees. Really watch as we do these that we don't start to pull in and up to the shoulders, okay? Let's start though on our forearms. And if you can, your wrists are in line with your elbows, a little bit wide, and you want to use those full arm elbow, or excuse me, full forearm bone. It's really easy to want to rock into the elbows and lift the wrists. Can we come in and push down all the way to the wrists? We're going to walk the knees back. And we're going to come out to our plank. So my nose feels like it's over my thumbs, but I'm not going to pull up. You see how my shoulders came forward? I'm going to drop the shoulders. Now my collarbones are down here. I'm going to lift them a little bit, and that takes the muscles right in the middle of the back and the low back. But then at the same time, can we firm the belly? There's no floor to firm the belly into, but can we start to find some of that? So you feel a lot back under the armpits, in the back, wrapping into the ribs, rather than pulling up here. And it makes you look back towards your knees. So you want to feel like we're looking a little more forward. Okay, you're going to turn one set of toes under. I don't care which one it is. One set of toes, and you're going to push those toes into the floor so the knee lifts. Okay? And really start to use those toes and quads. And can you feel that muscle, those leg muscles hug the bone? Like it's starting to lift the weight off the left knee. So then we can turn the left toes under and add. Now, can you really keep this in the legs? And again, not rolling up into here. But keeping the chest open, collarbones lifted, back on, belly on, and legs. Can we set the right knee down? And then left knee down. Scoot your elbows wide. Take a little breather. I'm going to play with that idea of lifting and lowering the knees. You can add as much or as little as you want. Take breaks as your shoulders need it. Okay, let's come back to those forearms. Collarbones a little bit lifted, belly strong. Come up to the knees. Let's start with the left one this time, or opposite one, whichever one you used. Just go opposite. Sorry, rights and lefts are horrible for me. We lift one leg and feel that leg so strong. See, I can almost lift the weight out of my opposite knee. And up. Set one down, and then one down. And squeeze one up, and one up, and down. Now, can you feel how the weight of the legs challenges under your armpits and the front of those ribs and the back? One more time. Up, up, strong, and down, and down. Now you can come lay on your belly. If you want a child's pose, you can take one too. I'd like to do the last few with long arms. So when we start working in the long arms, you see this is so much longer than here. So we're going to be more on a diagonal from armpit to hip to knee here. This is another one where people, it's easy to try to want to use those shoulders. But can you see that diagonal line? Because my arms are so long right now. So you're going to find your half plank. And because your arms are so long, it's easy to kind of drop in. So we want to bend our elbows a little more and use the chest. So you want to get right below the collarbones, right in between your armpits. Get that chest in there. Same thing, turn toes under. Let's lift one leg. Can you grip into that leg to lift the other knee? And then down one knee. And down. Can you keep your chest and belly on? And lift knee. And the other one. And down. And down. One more time. And up. And down. And down. Now stretch of your choice, whichever you'd like to do to release. My one last challenge, my one last idea, at least for today, is again challenging the strength we have through here. It's like wearing a corset that no matter how we move those legs, our upper body is nice and strong. So you could do this on the long arms, or if you want to do forearms, you can. I'll show you quick. It'll be easier to show you. So you get strong, you turn the toes under. I'm going to lift one leg, and then the other knee's going to lift and tap and lift. And so I want to feel the weight of that leg and the rest of my body and my core. So you can try that. Like I said, you can be on forearms and do this as well. Get your chest on, okay? Get those muscles in the back, in the belly, strong. Pick a leg and you lengthen it. You push into those toes, and then this is your dead weight leg. So you lift it up, and then, whoa, feel the weight of the leg get into that chest, into the belly, and back. And down. And that opposite leg, that's staying strong. It is strong. Let those muscles hold the bone. Let it be strong. Maybe try a few with the other side if you haven't. Or another thing, you could alternate one side and then the other and then the other. Whatever your little heart desires. And 4 and 3. 2, one more. Nice. Coming down. Hands and knees. Let's take a child's pose. So we're going to reach towards the top of the mat. This time your head fully comes down. Your body softens. Take a long breath for me. Walk your hands towards the left side of your mat. Maybe the hands go onto the floor. Maybe they don't. Let's open up the right ribs. So whatever position you get into and you feel the stretch in your right ribs, you got it. Take a breath. Hands to center and the other way. A little bit off the edge of the mat or towards the edge of the mat. Let those left ribs stretch open. One more breath. Let's come back, hands and knees. Let's do a quick downward dog. So the hands are going to find the mat, the toes. Step back and knees turn. Lengthen the side. You can paddle the heels and open up those legs. Stretching this out. Hopefully the back feels a little more at ease. When we really find those core muscles and give them a good squeeze, it actually relaxes the back muscles, the shoulders, and the neck. So I'm hoping you feel a little more of it. Let's come down, hands and knees. Scoot the feet out around in front. One more quick one for your low back. Step your feet really wide. Bring elbow in, and relax. And some people like to grab for their feet. Some people like to thread the hands under the knees. But just to let this low back stretch out a little bit. Let's stay here for about 2 breaths. Allow there to be softness in the corners of your eyes and in your jaw. And releasing and rolling up. Thank you so much for being here. Enjoy the sunshine. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you later. All right. Oh.